This episode had everything.
It had some poopies.
It had exotic dancing lessons, which we wanted earlier in this season. Maybe we can start that sidekick.
It had the blind leading the blind.
You mean Luke and Anthony trying to give each other relationship advice?
Absolutely.
And it's going to have my take, an attorney's perspective on these two K-1s that were announced this episode. 90 Day, The Other Way, Season 7, Episode 22, Tell All, Part 2. Let's watch.
Remote reality, yeah, that's the key. Unlocking stories wild and free. With the host, side by side. Channel surfers, let's ride.
Happy Tuesday, Channel Surfers. Welcome to Remote Reality. I'm Lauren, your friend and attorney host who loves to overanalyze everything, including our favorite reality TV shows.
And I'm Dee, her paralegal and smartass sidekick and co-host.
I have to say, Tuesday is treating us better.
Speak for yourself. I've been busy all morning.
So have I. If you're new here and you like 90 Day, Sister Wives, Traitors, Big Brother, Love is Blind, make sure you hit the subscribe button somewhere up here on the top where I'm pointing if you're on YouTube. If you're on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, make sure you follow and give us that 5-star review. It helps us find more friends who love the same shows we do, which is the big reason that we're doing this. We don't really have people to talk to about this in our real lives. They don't watch reality TV. I drug Dee into this. We used to have an attorney that worked with us, and he loved 90 Day Fiance. And he thought he looked like Jesse, which was Darcy's ex-fiance.
No idea, because until we covered it, that was the first time I had ever watched it.
That's when Johny and I used to talk about 90 Day.
He would have been great to do this podcasting with.
He always had the tea when he came in. So last week's episode ended with the big drama. Manon storming out of the studio. No paparazzi, no pictures, please. Throwing her hands up, get the cameras out of my face. And Anthony deciding to stay and hang out with his new friends because they supported him. He wants to be around and support them. Greta and Luke are hanging out on the couch, enjoying their lunch with a big old side of drama. And when Anthony walks back in, Luke's like, man, looks like you need a beer and a new wife. Whoop.
What?
Speaking from experience, are we, Anthony?
It's like the blind leading the blind.
Greta calls him out on it. She looks like she's about to slap Luke with that vegan sandwich.
He needs slapped with the sandwich.
She's like, do you see the same patterns here? Because Luke's complaining about Manon's finality, which, yes, problematic. She's brought up divorce again. But I have seen Madelein try to cut ties with you more than anybody this season. I think in the first 2 episodes, you probably outnumbered finalities that Anthony and Manon are dealing with.
Absolutely, 100%. I don't know what he's thinking. If he needs to just sit down and shut up.
But instead, he wants to tell Anthony that Manon and Anthony are on the toxic side of things, which, yes, I agree. But you're sitting in the same boat. Greta, she sees it from Manon's side. She says that she also has insecurities and she will start spiraling and she'll construct things in her head that are against her. Like in this example, Manon's constructing these family issues. But that doesn't mean that she thinks this is healthy and that Anthony and Manon should stay together. She doesn't think that staying together for your children is a good enough reason, and she thinks they should part ways. To be fair, though, this whole episode, I think Greta's like, everybody, let's live that single life. Break up.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. The only thing, I wasn't so sure that Manon's stuff is coming from insecurity. She's pissed.
She is.
She's pissed.
I mean, Luke and Anthony have so much in common. They're both married to very outspoken, strong-willed women, Manon and Madeleine. And they both completely ignore what their wives are saying. We've seen Manon warn Anthony about moving to France, how they're still going to need money. It's not going to solve the financial issue. It's not going to fix their issues. We've seen her tell him, just coming into the tell-all, directly and clearly communicating what she wants. I want you to support me. I want you to
Well-
have my back.
Well, that's why she's so pissed, I think. I mean, if you watch last episode, which was part 1, and then throughout this episode, we see the same thing. Anthony has no problem taking up and defending all of these other cast members on the stage, but he has not once defended or taken up for his own wife. Sitting there next, it has to be pissing her off.
And she clearly communicated that. I think at this point she is frustrated. And she even said, I don't know how to get across these points to you without me being explosive and losing it. Not as a justification in any way. If she's at that point, I mean, I wonder if they went and tried to get some couples counseling or something before they even moved to France. Or if this was Anthony saying, this is it, we got to try this. And she's like, no, let's think this out. And he's like, this is our marriage or nothing.
Well, that seems to be how he gets his way. I mean, we see the same thing happen with them at one point during this episode. As soon as he starts coming at her about divorce or their relationship, she completely does a 180.
Which there's some problems there too. But it's like she feels like she has to go to these extremes to get him to listen. Now with Madeleine, very similar. Luke, he doesn't care what she has to say, doesn't care what it is she's wanting. Also has no problem lying to her.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say. You know, he refers to her as batshit crazy. If someone's lying to you all the time, it would make you crazy.
It's crazy making. I have that in my note. And I think that's why he doesn't see his situation as the same as Anthony's, because he knows he's doing things he shouldn't be doing. He knows he shouldn't be getting into a get-rich-quick scheme with a guy and gambling what he and Madeleine had been working to build together, which he couldn't have done if her name was on the deed. He shouldn't have lied to her about the bachelor party for days. He shouldn't have lied to her about Brian, the friend that he says, I'm only being nice to him so he'll pay me back, which we'll get into this episode. I think Luke knows why Madeleine's triggered. So that's why he's not connecting the dots immediately between him and Anthony.
That's a good possibility. I just think he's in his own world and he's not focusing on anything around him but what's going on with him specifically. So if she's upset about something, he's just, yeah, you know, they're just kind of disregarding whatever the women are saying and just go on about their business. You know, he had made a reference, I think, to, because she had gotten upset with him and she said she was done. And he's like, well, we'll see how you feel tomorrow.
Yeah, Madeleine.
And I think I think that it's because he does this stuff. She gets mad and then he talks his way back out of whatever trouble he's gotten into.
We'll see how you feel tomorrow after I promise I'll never lie again. So the producers end up convincing Manon to stay. She comes back in. Then they go over to Stageland. And Luke and Anthony, they're working on this romance. He really liked the stripping in a sex dungeon. One of his favorite moments. And Pattiya,
Lord.
her ears perk up. She's like, what? Did we say stripping? Hey guys, what's up? And she goes, sits down between Luke and Anthony. And she rates Anthony's strip-tease. She rates it a 7.
That was pretty generous of her. Honestly.
I remember thinking it was really hot at the time. It was like the first time I thought he looked good.
Yeah. I was expecting her to throw him like a 4 or 5 or something. When she said 7, I was like, well, that's above average. I wouldn't say he's above average.
Well, then she starts trying to give them exotic dancing lessons. So she's like, spread your feet apart a little bit, do a figure 8. Anthony looks like he's trying to write a 6, or he's just a toddler with a crayon scribbling everywhere.
I was thinking a 3. I'm like, it's an 8, not a 3.
That's not an 8, buddy. Luke's not doing much better. So if I have to rate Luke, I'm probably going to go in the 7. Think about them in comparison to Dylan.
Oh my gosh.
He's
How
a
could you?
professional. So I think
like a 20.
a 7 was nice. I think that was a great rating. Now, Manon says off stage she did expect Anthony to come chasing after her, which is problematic. She wants his support. She wasn't getting it. So she tries this stunt where she's going to leave, and she's still not getting it. The one way that he's taught her to communicate with him isn't working now. And that's why I think we see her turn desperate. That's how I would describe it.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like the only attention she gets from him is when she is explosive or running off or finalities and things like that. It's almost like she doesn't exist unless she's throwing those fits from him. Like, that's the only attention she's getting.
He doesn't take her seriously. She told him straight up, I need you to support me. Even throughout this season, the dates he's planning for her, I think she felt that the mime and the milking the goats, that he wasn't taking her seriously. He wasn't taking romance seriously.
Well, he wasn't thinking about her. Those were dates he wanted to do, not things that he thought she would want to do. He knew better. He knew she would not want to go out on a damn goat farm.
Well, he should have if he listened to her.
He's married to her. He should have already known that. Hell, we've just been watching one season of her, and I could have told him she's not going to like that.
But he doesn't pay attention to what she wants. And it's like the chicken or the egg. Is he not paying attention to what she wants because of how she reacts? Or is she reacting that way because he's not paying attention to what she wants? Or is it, this is how they've learned to deal with each other? It's probably a little bit of both, and this is what it's become.
Well, it kind of reminds me of my son when he was a toddler and he would throw these temper tantrums. And the psychiatrist said he's used to getting attention for negative behavior. You're going to have to do a behavior modification to where he understands he gets your attention when he does positive things. It kind of reminds me of that. Like, the only attention she's getting from him is when it's negative attention. So she continues to do negative attention to get, or negative things to get his attention.
So are you suggesting that Anthony treat Manon like a toddler?
I'm sure behavior modification could work at any age, but no, not necessarily. But that's what it reminded me of.
I mean, I get it. When Anthony says he doesn't know how to move forward, what should Manon have done in this situation instead of run off and expect Anthony to chase after her? Well, she should have told him what she needed, but she did tell him what she needed.
She told him before it started. Yeah, she told him before the show started that she needed his support. She needed him to take her side and things like that. And all he's done the entire time is either stay silent and let her get ganged up on.
Jumping on the dog pile with, you shouldn't be mayor.
Right. I mean, we know he's capable of it. He sat there and defended several people on the stage, so he's capable of doing it. Why he won't do it for her, I have no idea.
He defended Luke. I have to find reasons to do that.
Luke, for fuck's sakes.
Anthony also hones in on what Manon is saying. She said, I was letting you speak and stuff. You told me not to use my emotions and then kind of lay the way so that you could speak. And I've been trying to do that. And Anthony just zones in on this, I let you speak. The way I took that was like, the floor is yours. I'm letting you speak. I'm taking a step back so that, I'm not letting my emotions take over so that you have an opportunity to say what you need to say. The floor is yours. Not that she has some sort of leash on his tongue.
Yeah, I think he was taking that out of context or trying to make a big deal out of something. He knew damn well what she meant. Because that's exactly the way I took it. I took it that one of two things, what you just said, or she wasn't going to speak for him or over him when he tried to talk. She was going to give him the time to say whatever he wanted to say.
And he was asking her to speak without emotion, which that's hard.
It's hard for anybody.
That's like one of the reasons people shouldn't represent themselves in lawsuits, because you get away from the logic when you are attached emotionally to the subject. So we start with Luke and Madeleine, and Angel is pregnant. They're waiting on poopies.
They're going to have poopies. I was dying laughing when she said she was having poopies.
It's like, are you saying that Luke is full of shit? Yes.
Yeah, you've already had poopies, Madeleine.
Let's get pictures up of these poopies. They're just so cute. So if you are on YouTube, you can see the little babies.
Oh my goodness.
And this little bonnet.
Too cute.
I love the spots in the coat. They're so adorable. So now they're going to have 5 puppies, which, Dee, you've had 5 puppies before.
Oh my gosh.
I've had 4.
Yeah, I had a husband that liked to bring home every stray he came across. So at one time, yes, we had 5 dogs. So much.
Doggy door and fence.
That's exactly what we had.
Makes it easier. And pooper scooper to come by weekly. So Luke and Madeleine, they are still engaged, to clear up any confusion.
They're married, still married. Well, you said engaged, Luke and Madeleine.
Are they married?
I don't know.
Because
they said on the show they
what
were.
What they said was before the wedding, they applied for the K-1 visa, which they didn't hear anything back. And then Luke decided to go to Colombia. I've got questions. This whole storyline is you are going to Colombia to live there, to start this hotel. You're even saying that now, but you applied for a K-1 visa for her to move to the U.S. as your fiance. And because the distance was too hard and it was taking too long, that's why you decided to go to Colombia, Luke? The story is not lining up. What they said happened was after the wedding, they finally heard back that the K-1 visa got approved for Madeleine. So they didn't file the paperwork because they want to bring her over on a K-1 visa instead of restart the process and apply for a spousal visa, which could take another 20 months to get approval for. Here's my concern. Are they married? They said they didn't file the paperwork so that legally they wouldn't be married. And I just kind of browsed. This is not legal advice, but in Colombia, it looks like, with the exception of religious marriages or common law marriages, if a notary or a judge marries you and you sign that contract, you're married. Recording it puts other people on notice that you're married, but the marriage is formed during the civil ceremony. Recording doesn't form the marriage. Now, if it's a religious ceremony, then you have to record it later for it to be formed. And if it's common law, well, it looks like perhaps that wouldn't affect the immigration process. I'm not sure. We used to have common law marriage here. It looked like Colombia. It said one of the things you had to have was a stable relationship. So I was like, I'll scratch that idea. But there was also a time length on it, which in our state, we didn't have a time length on common law marriage. So the law is very jurisdiction to jurisdiction. Here's the problem. If Luke and Madeleine are married, the question being whether filing the paperwork forms the marriage or just notifies people of the marriage. If the marriage was formed during the civil ceremony and they just haven't filed the paperwork to put people on notice, if they did have a legally binding marriage, then trying to go to the U.S. on a K-1 visa would be fraud. And from the moment they're legally married, that visa wouldn't be good anymore. So you would have an unlawful entry, which could create a lot more problems. It's kind of like if you bought my house and I signed the deed over to you. When I sign that deed, that's giving you the house. And then you take it to the Register of Deeds and record it so other people know that you own the house now. But you still own it, even if you haven't recorded it yet. So the question is whether or not them doing the ceremony and signing the paper meant they were married or if they had to file it for them to be married, which from what I'm seeing, that would only work if it was a religious ceremony. I don't know that this looked like a religious ceremony. I know that with the Catholic Church, you have to be married in the church.
Well,
so this is an outdoor one at a resort.
Well, and he's from California, isn't he? Right?
Yeah.
So I remember watching, I think it was like a follow-up of The Hills from a few years ago. Is it Brody Jenner? Is that his name? Brody?
Yep. He's so cute.
Yes. And he kept talking about him and his wife, but halfway through the season, we learned that they're not legally married. They just did a spiritual marriage, kind of I guess, with Cody and his wives.
Right.
But it wasn't a legal marriage. They considered themselves married, but it wasn't a legal marriage. So maybe they did something like that. And that's why they're doing the K-1.
I know is I hope they've sought some advice on whether or not this marriage is legal before proceeding to the U.S. on a K-1 visa.
Yeah, don't get yourselves in trouble.
And I started taking immigration law ease a year ago. Because I want to know more about 90 Day. I joined the American Immigration Lawyer Association, but still, like, not ready to jump in and get my feet wet. I want to learn a lot more before I start taking on these types of cases. And this is what I'd want to do is like help families come over and fiancés and marriages. We'll talk about that a little bit with Dylan and Pattiya also. All right. So what do you think happened to Madeleine's rings?
I honestly don't know. I thought her story was, it didn't occur to me that she might have pawned them until everybody started talking about it. And I was like, oh, that's probably maybe a possibility too. I didn't quite understand the whole coolant in the car and the cup holder and the liquid coming up on her. That didn't make any sense to me.
I thought it was funny that Dylan, first thing, he's like, I bet she pawned them.
Well, he thought at one point
would do.
I was going to say, he said at one point he took Pattiya's engagement ring back because he was afraid she was going to pawn it.
And then was it Johny that asked if he had seen proof of life of the ring? Like, have you seen any photos?
That's funny. Well, because Luke sent his ring to her after she lost hers so that she could
a new set.
Yes.
All right. I've got a lot of thoughts about this. First of all, she tells the story about the car not working, her getting out, taking the rings off because the coolant was getting on her hands. And remember, this isn't her first language. Madeleine in the prior season of 90 Day was way less fluent in English. Her English has drastically improved. But for me, when Luke was like, wait, you told me that you put it in your pocket on the way to the gym and lost it. Those two things aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. She could have been driving to the gym, had car trouble, and put it in her pocket because that's what she said she did, which there's the short version for Luke, who doesn't listen to anything she says anyway. I was on my way to the gym. I was on the way to the gym and the car broke down and hands got wet and I put it in my pocket. It could be the same story. Madeleine also, she tends to take accountability for things and admit when she's done something. She says that her actions throwing cake in Luke's face, she didn't like that and she felt shame for that. So I don't see her lying about that.
No, but I mean, she also can be a little bit of a hothead. I mean, I could see her potentially being like extremely pissed at him and go pawn them in the heat of the moment and then not want to tell him what she did.
See, I don't see her not wanting to tell him. I see her being like, you're a jerk, so this is what I did. If you're going to treat me like that, I'm going to get rid of you in any way I can. The other thing, why don't we have these insured? Assuming these are valuable rings, why isn't there an insurance policy?
Well, that's a good point too. I mean, but honestly, I never had any of my rings insured.
I don't have mine insured either, but I don't ever wear them. I'm like Pattiya, I forget to put them on. I got married at 34. I'm not used to wearing a bunch of rings. Most of the time, it's just in a safe. It only comes out for special occasions.
Well, as you know, I always wear mine. Remember that one time I lost the diamond out of my engagement ring at the office?
When you were working for me, like over a decade ago.
I know.
You had that one insured? No.
No, it was newly purchased because it was an upgrade. Yes. And they said they would replace it once because they felt that the
setting might have been the issue. I had a friend that his wife lost her ring in the lake and they ended up getting more money on it than he had purchased it for her.
Nice.
But he got it at a good deal, so he was able to insure it for its actual value. Let's talk about this whole Brian and the gold adventure.
I was a little confused with that story. Something wasn't adding up to me.
So Luke says he got short on cash. So he decides to lean up the property, the investment, that again is only in his name. If he had put Madeleine on it, he would have had to have a discussion with his business partner before doing this. But no, we're going to lean this up, invest in some sort of gold thing, and it doesn't pay off because allegedly, Brian gets robbed and tied up with a group of people and loses Luke's upwards of $150,000 investment.
He said he was kidnapped.
Plus another total of $2.1 million from other people's investments.
He said he was kidnapped.
I know. Manon was like, is this real? What are your thoughts?
Well, I have seen things on TV over the last few years about traveling in certain countries and being concerned um, with kidnapping. So, I guess it's possible if somebody knew that he had that kind of money available that could be given for his return. I guess it's possible, but it sounded so out there that actually it might actually be true. I don't know.
Well, then Luke says Brian didn't tell him at first. And he says it's because Madeleine doesn't like Brian, so they don't talk a lot. I don't care if you talk a lot. If you just lost $150,000 and you were kidnapped and tied up, that at least deserves a tag.
Absolutely. Like, I would be calling my friends knowing that they were concerned, but definitely if I had borrowed
to the house,
Yeah.
you need to let him know what's going on. The fact that this wasn't, oh my gosh, the most horrible thing happened, and he took his time to tell Luke.
If you lose somebody's money, the first thing you're going to want to do is tell them that you lost it and why.
Luke also seems very cool-headed about this. He's like, oh, no worries. He's going to pay me back.
Maybe he's the one that kidnapped him.
And Brian says, yeah, I'm going to pay you back 100%. But that money was an investment. You were supposed to earn money with that money. When you take out a loan from a bank, you at least pay interest back. Interest lost is losing money here, let alone if you leaned it up to the property, you're paying interest on that loan. Or you've lost your property.
It just seems kind of shady. Something's not adding up. 2 + 2 is not making 4.
Do you think Luke knows what happened to the money and it wasn't that?
That's what I just said. Maybe Luke kidnapped him. I think maybe Luke knows more about where that money's at. Maybe this is
I'm not saying Luke
a story to cover his own ass.
But a get-rich-quick scheme?
Well, that's what I was implying when I smart-assily said maybe Luke kidnapped him. I think he knows exactly where the money's at.
He's just awful chill for my friend. Made me lean up my business, took the money and lost it, and he promises he's going to pay me back. Oh, and he loves Brian and is friends with Brian, which he has told Madeleine, the only reason I'm even being nice to this guy is so he pays me back. But then on the tell-all, he just confesses his love for Brian.
Love you, bro.
Another lie, though. Madeleine, she has every right to be pissed here. Sean says it looks like she's about to implode,
internally combust.
Hell yeah. $150,000 good dollars, which like Johny says would make you a millionaire in Colombia. Gone from a business that you've been helping trying to build up, where it wouldn't have just disappeared had your name been on the title, because you'd have to sign off on it too. And all because Luke is buying into some get rich quick scheme from his friend who has been very upfront telling Luke that he doesn't think he needs to marry Madeleine. He says he just wants to make them see it. I think you're involved enough, Brian. Take a seat. And then, of course, he's one of the guys at the bachelor party that Luke swore he wasn't going to have, which, if you're going to have one,
trigger,
be honest about it. It's the lies.
Well, Luke didn't know he was having a bachelor party, but he could have told her because he knows how she feels about strippers.
Matthew would have walked out. I don't understand this whole one last single night bachelor party. I don't know what you would call it.
You mean as far as having strippers?
Well, yeah, like the last night being single. Tradition, I guess. But my husband didn't have a bachelor party. My next door neighbor's husband didn't have a bachelor party. My friends that have had bachelor parties recently, it's like they went to Top Golf or they went hiking for a week.
Well, I think maybe, first of all, it could be stereotyping, because not everybody does that with their bachelor or bachelorette parties. But when you watch movies and stuff, that's always, what's happening. I think it's just individual preferences and respect for whoever you're marrying and what their thoughts are on it. I personally would not have cared, but I know that some people would have. So I think that you need to show that person respect. If you know the person you're marrying would not appreciate that or doesn't like that, then obviously you don't do it.
My biggest issue is the honesty part. That they had conversations about this. And then he lied to her and continued to lie to her. If he was like, Madeleine, your opinion be damned, then tell her that. And it's not just this lie. There's so many lies. This is why I don't trust this gold scheme. But the thought of you're about to have the biggest commitment of your life. So let's have one last hurrah. It's almost the antithesis of that. For example, I had a boyfriend who his sister was getting married, and his sister had been with her boyfriend since high school. They had only been with each other. And he was like, yeah, we're going to pay for him to get a blowjob from somebody at his bachelor party. And then
that's over the top.
They had 2 girls come to the apartments and play with each other with sex toys in front of the guys.
No, that's over the top. That's not.
And when I found out, I was like, you need to tell your sister what happened.
Yeah, that's not the same as going to a strip club or having a stripper show up at the party. That's over the top. That's not acceptable.
But it's that whole mentality of like last night single, which is a fiction. You're already committed and engaged to somebody.
Yeah, I think that your story though is a little bit above the what it's supposed to mean. I don't think it's supposed to mean something like that.
Well, and that's the thing. Everybody's going to have different opinions on it.
And that's the reason why I just have a discussion about it before any bachelor parties or bachelorette parties.
An honest discussion, guys.
He knew. That's the bottom line, as she said that was out of the question. She did not want that, and he did.
What is it about Luke that makes him need that and put that above his word to Madeleine?
I think it just falls into the same category with what you were saying about him and Anthony both. They don't listen. They don't care. It's about them, and that's the way it's going to be.
They don't care what their spouses and partners think. So the cast has a whole array of reactions. Chloe was like, I think we're a little mature to be throwing cake. I personally would like to find someone to throw cake in my face. That would be cool.
My favorite's red velvet. Anybody?
I'll take some with rum.
Make it a rum cake.
Anthony sees himself in this. It sounds like he's like, it's not fair that she can treat you however. And then if Luke says something, she takes it way too personally. That's a double standard. It's hypocrisy. No, she's fed up with his shit too, just like Manon is fed up with yours.
I can see why you don't see any issues with it, Anthony. You got the same problem.
Also, Anthony, he lied to her. You're at least not lying to Manon, but he's like, anyone upset that she is being lied to over and over by this man?
There's nothing that makes a person madder than knowing they're being lied to and they still won't fess up.
Madeleine says Luke should have left, which is what Matthew says he would do, which was what I thought. Like the guys I know that didn't have those kind of parties, that didn't want those, they would have left. It's funny though. My one guy friend, my old roommate, he had his bachelor party at Top Golf, and his fiance, his now wife, I went to her bachelorette party. Liz and I went. She had it at a male strip show. It got wild in there.
I thought you were going to say that he had a stripper show up at Top Golf dressed like a golf ball or something.
No, they had no interest, but us girls are getting buck wild, which, like I said, it depends on what you guys agree to and honesty. Like our partners all knew what we were doing, where we were going. It's not like it was some big secret. It was fun. Good music.
Sure. Good music.
Just some guys in G-strings. Not a big deal.
Was good. Yeah.
Greta said if she had a partner and they were in a healthy relationship, a stripper wouldn't change her mind. But what if he lied to you about it? We're leaving out the part that's ticking off Madeleine. And Pattiya makes a great point. What if Brian did this to piss you off, Madeleine, because he doesn't want you to be together? And Madeleine's like, yeah, that's possible. But here's the problem. We're still not making Luke accountable for lying to Madeleine here. By shifting the blame to Brian, We are not holding Luke accountable for lying. And Madeleine says she gets crazy because he's always trying to minimize things and he never takes responsibility or accountability. Luke's sitting there like, at least it was just one stripper. He doesn't take her seriously. He's doing exactly what she says drives her crazy. So yeah, Madeleine is done with Luke's lies. This guy who has lost essentially $1 million in Colombian money. Him lying about them being friends. I mean, it's not just like, I don't like him. It's, I don't like him. And the whole reason I'm nice to him is so he'll pay me my money back. It's like lie on top. He's got a whole damn story. So she's done. Stage. I have never seen someone work harder to be a rebound than Chloe working on Luke.
Kate working on
Chloe / Kate, as Madeleine refers to her, working on Luke.
Laugh every time she says it. She's like, Kate, Chloe, whatever your name is.
She and Greta are tag teaming this man. They're like, are you single? Are you single? You should be single. It's really fun. I love being single. And Luke's eyes just get so big. He's like, yeah, you like being single, Chloe? There's so many people out there who won't throw cake at you. And then that's when Luke says Madeleine is batshit crazy. And Chloe's like, that's a breakthrough. And Greta is shocked that he's aware of this. Luke, you're crazy making. So they declare a single era. Everybody put your hands in. We've got Chloe. We've got Luke. Pretty much holding hands there. And they're like, come on, Greta, join us. Greta's like, I'm too much of a nerd. I don't really like going out. And Chloe's like, yeah, it'll be fun. We'll go read books. You know, Luke just lost his heart on with that. Like, you're dragging me into the single life and we're about to go read books. No.
She made a new thing. It's going to be wine and read, or read and wine.
Now, Manon didn't say much during this segment before this little backstage clip. But we did have Anthony taking Luke's side, and Manon, she's had enough. I mean, you're standing up for Luke and not Manon. So you see her getting desperate, asking Anthony just to remember the good times. And then we get to the naked hug. What the hell is this? She wants to be naked in bed with Anthony, just feeling him, breathing and crying because she really misses him. Not sexual. She doesn't have libido. She just wants naked hugs. I mean, Dee, I miss you, but I'm not going to propose naked hugs.
Oh, yeah, that would be out of the question. I was thinking that she, like,
this is so strange.
I think she's just wanting to cuddle naked, maybe. I don't know. Let it cry on his chest. I don't know. I did not quite understand it. Maybe it's some kind of thing between them or something. Because he's the one that said, you want to have sex? And she's like, no, I just want to lay there with you naked.
But she's saying it's a non-sexual naked hug. Like, we're not going to be non-sexual naked hugging. Would you non-sexual naked hug with your kid? No. This feels like sexual manipulation. It's like, look at my babies, fall into this trap.
Well, I thought
Let me hypnotize you with my hips.
I think it was more of a redirection to get him thinking about her naked. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly. It felt very manipulative.
This is a reminder. Because she put the image of herself naked in his head.
And you know what? It worked. He left with her.
It did. He left with her.
I don't want to put the nail in the coffin. I want to put the nail in her.
Yeah. He's like, I ain't giving that shit up. She just reminded me what I'd be missing. I ain't giving it up.
So we go back to Stageland. Pattiya tells Sean that she loves her outfit. She loves her style, which we said that last week. We loved what Sean was wearing. Best dress for sure. And then Manon has left her glass slippers there. They look like Cinderella's glass slippers. To me, this screams the fairy tale is over and Cinderella has left the building.
Charming found the mate to the shoe.
She left both shoes. Cinderella's out of there. And Pattiya, she just experienced Manon and Anthony having this rude awakening at the tell-all. They're getting Sean caught up to speed. And Luke's like, yeah, the D word is being tossed around. Dick. She's going to go lay naked in bed with him and his dick. No.
Or double D's, triple D's.
All the D's. All the D. So, Dylan and Pattiya. Dylan, right up, admits he was wrong, takes accountability, says, I shouldn't have had that conversation, shouldn't have had it in a gym. I do trust her. And he acknowledges his insecurity about her dancing and his fear that a guy will cross the boundaries. They are still engaged. And Pattiya forgot to wear her ring, which I feel you, girl. I feel you. I forget mine too. It's not easy to get in the habit of that when you're not used to it. So Pattiya's back in Texas. Small town life wasn't for her. And she says Dylan's outgrown the town too. So we get a surprise. In a few weeks, Dylan is coming to the U.S. and he'll be here for 90 days. They're going to be working on getting that K-1 paperwork submitted.
Mm-hmm.
So, they're coming here. I wonder if they'll be on 90 day.
Well, that would be super. I would love to see that. But, I wasn't quite as convinced that he believed he had outgrown the small town as she did, because his face did not say the same thing.
There's small towns in the U.S.
Yeah.
I'd probably rather be in the one in Australia. Let's be real.
It was almost like she was trying to convince him that he had outgrown it. I didn't get the feeling that that's necessarily what he thought, but he loves her. He wants to be wherever she is, so he's going to do this.
I think he says, I can't breathe without her.
I know. It's
romantic.
I know.
So over the top Dylan, though. Remember, we decided he was the drama queen.
Yeah. I just think that some of the other ones on that stage need to take some lessons from him.
Now, as far as the K-1, so that's the fiancé visa. That's an option. It usually takes like 18 to 20 months to get here. Whereas if they got married first, and I mean, they've got a solid background here. They've been together 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, if he had overstayed a visa, he needed to disclose that. As long as there was no fraud or anything involved. Fraud is bad. But to get a green card, like to be able to leave and come back, to be able to work, it takes about 30 months with the K-1 versus the spousal visa, where that one takes a little bit longer. So like maybe a few months, like 20 on the low end versus 18. So it might take a few months more to get here. And he probably has things to do to like wrap up with his properties and such. But once you get here, you've got the green card. So you're not waiting, unable to work, and then having to adjust status. So we kind of talked about that in a different episode. And I was thinking the spousal visa could be good, especially they've been together so long. Like with Luke and Madelein, probably go K-1, but only so like you're not married to the person. Unless, of course, that marriage in Colombia was legally binding, then I would definitely go spousal visa so you're not committing fraud. But again, not legal advice, just an attorney shooting off at the mouth. Anyway, so Joe means sweetheart, AO.
I did not know that.
Yes, my grandma loves Scrabble, and that's one of the words. J-O is a sweetheart. The sweetheart, Dylan's mama, Pattiya says that she blames her and Dylan's issues on mom. I start to wonder, like, do these people have issues, or is this, maybe they had issues in the past and they're playing this up for the show?
I don't personally think anybody is going to be with someone for 12 years if they have those kind of issues with their mother.
It may be the one thing that they could reenact. Like one of the few things. Remember, they also came in about 4 or 5 episodes, so there might not be much there for us to see by way of drama.
They just get along so too good. Yeah, they just get along too well.
But Joe tells Pattiya, you being older, that's your issue, not mine. Which, if Dylan said his mom said that stuff, then...
Yeah, but he also said that she didn't say it, that he made it up, remember?
Well, what's making her think this? Or is this just the storyline?
It may just be the storyline. Yeah, we had that conversation at the dinner table with his mom, and she's like, Dylan told me that. And his mom, Joe, said, I never said that. And
it's like he resolved it too quickly.
Yeah, he admitted that he made it up.
What did you think of Joe's reaction to the engagement? My first thought was, remember the short that we did and what we did in that episode at the engagement where it was like, bring, bring, right after he proposes. Good day, Mom. That popped in my head. I was like, yep, He is right in the middle of the moment on the phone with mama. Although you do want to call your parents during that.
Yeah. Moment. I did not take her saying, "Oh, okay, already," or something like that so quick. I didn't take it as a bad thing. I was thinking that maybe he had discussed a different time with his mom that he was going to propose, and he did it sooner than what he had told her he was going to do it. Because they've been together for 12 years. Of course, she's not going to think so soon.
And that's why I'm Team Pattiya on this. I was like, what do you mean that was quick? Like, you think we're rushing into things? Are you not sure about this?
Yeah, I think maybe mom and him had a discussion and he said, well, if she's here hypothetically 3 months or 6 months, I might, propose. I'm not proposing to her until she's here 6 months or something like that. So
they've been engaged before.
Right.
He's using the same ring. He's taken it to get cleaned. He talks to his mom every day. And she doesn't know this is about to happen. This feels like TLC fraudacity. I feel like we've got a storyline here and the editors are enjoying their THC chews and maybe not linking everything up.
Yeah, I can't see her being surprised at him proposing for as long as they've been together. The only other thing that came into my mind is what I said, is maybe he told her it was going to be later than when he actually did it, or what you said, storyline.
Now, Pattiya, she describes this as a toxic attachment, and she starts reaching out to the other castmates to find out what their takes are. So this is the mom status chaos of the tell-all. Chloe, she doesn't talk to her mom all the time, which kind of surprises me. She used to live with her mom. Johny, she asked him, and he's like, well, I lost my mom. And then Jenny jumps right in. Or Greta, she asked Greta, and Greta says, I lost my mom. Johny, of course, lost his mom. So he said he talked to his mom regardless of what anyone said. Jenny's like, don't even ask me. My mom's gone too. Luke, we don't know where Luke's mom is, but he says he talks to his dad daily because you never know what could happen. And also because daddy probably gives him money. Daddy, I need another 3,000. I just lost 150. Look, when you're not putting the work into the business and daddy's handing you the money, it's probably a lot easier to risk that 150 when you didn't do anything to get it. Just saying. Sumit, he doesn't see the problem, which, no shit, dude, you live with your parents. So this is the group mentality going into this. And we meet Pattiya's friend Jen, stage name Lynn. She is pregnant now. Seems like she is out of the business. She's got a pretty rad mushroom tattoo on her shoulder with a little smiley face. Happy mushrooms. And she's like, we need to look at the context here because you guys are making Pattiya seem like she's crazy and inappropriate, but y'all aren't talking about appropriate stuff. Joe and Dylan immediately get defensive. They think it's unfair. Joe even says, give me examples. I am happy to address them.
Well, I understood what Joe was saying. She was like, that's not fair. If you're going to say it's inappropriate, you can't just leave it hanging out there for anybody to think it could mean anything.
Sure.
You need to go ahead and say what it is so that I can address it. I got that. Yeah.
Well, she addresses the first thing, but they don't address the second thing. Now, the first thing, Pattiya says this is wrong, but Joe is talking to Dylan about her gynecologist appointment. I'm with Johny. That's discussing your medical things with your children. It's probably also a good idea so they know what kind of treatment you might need. Should they have to be your guardian? Hopefully you have some sort of power of attorney, healthcare power of attorney, stuff like that.
Yeah, if they're ever unconscious, you need to know their medical history and what's going on with them if there's any issues with it.
You know what? Kind of logical problems happen. My mom, Mama C, if you've watched our Big Brother coverage, she's a stage 3 breast cancer survivor. Double mastectomy. I mean, hysterectomy, chemo, radiation. And she talked to me and my brother about that, like through the whole thing. We were both living at home. And she also had reconstructive surgery and offered to show us her boobs, her new rack without the nipples, and then with they tattoo the nipples on. They create a fake nipple, which apparently is hard all the time, and they tattoo around it. I never saw it. I should text my brother. Did you look at mom's tits? See, maybe we're the family with all those boundaries.
You're inappropriate.
But she's like, they're not real. They're tats. You want to see my tats? She'll probably kill us for that. She wouldn't even let us post that video of her where we have her fake cussing and beeping out normal words. Just kidding, Mom.
You're
Never
in
happened.
trouble.
She won't listen to this. Anyway, yeah. So I don't think that.
I didn't think that was inappropriate.
Whatever. It's medical stuff. But then something happened at dinner with Glenn there in Tasmania with everyone sitting around the table, him, his brother. And Dylan's like, no, don't humiliate my mom. Don't. Like, she's here. Don't do it. And Pattiya says, well, I'm here too. You want me to be humiliated? And Chloe jumps in. She's like, yeah, you're making her look like she's crazy.
I didn't think that. And I didn't think she was being humiliated.
Well, what she's saying is, it doesn't look good for me to be anti-mom. I'm just anti-toxic relationship. Yet when I get to the point of you want specific examples and I'm about to give you one, I get stopped. So now it looks like I'm being unreasonable because people don't know the whole story. But I have a lot of respect for Pattiya for not continuing.
I'd say she did a double take on thinking about whether or not she should continue or not. And realized that it probably wouldn't be worth it if it was something that was extremely inappropriate. I don't know what it was.
Even if it's not, she's about to marry Dylan. She's serious about this. And this is in national TV in front of millions of people. But she also realizes that this relationship's going to outlast the show.
Well, and at the end,
we got to keep the peace.
I was going to really say, yeah, at the end of the day, this is still going to be her mother-in-law. So I don't think she wants to go down that road. If there is something that would, if it's like the gynecologist stuff, it's probably overrated. It's not really inappropriate.
See, I wonder what it was though, because Dylan did not want her mentioning it. And it could just be like fart jokes. We don't know.
Well, I mean, let's talk about your mom. I mean, you just said, how your mom would react to you saying that story. And when we recorded with your mom, she's so religious. She didn't even want us to say cuss words on the show with her. When we did, she would,
But you know that when you get around family and you get comfortable.
Right.
Things, what I was she hears more things from us than she wants to hear on air in front of other people.
But what I was getting ready to say, what if it was just something as simple as a cuss word slipped out? Your mom would be mortified that it was on recording. You know what I mean?
It could be, but again, I think there's probably something towing the line. I don't think Pattiya thinks it's inappropriate that his mom is cussing with him. Remember, this is Pattiya saying that the conversations are inappropriate. This is from her perspective, what would be inappropriate to talk to your son about. So
I was using it as an example. Like your mom would be really upset. Right. She didn't even want us to.
I don't think it's going to be something that's poo-poo.
That's simple.
It's something that Dylan and Pattiya are both like, yeah, this could humiliate her. Like I said, it might be fart jokes. Who knows? But I think it says a lot about their relationship that she didn't continue talking about Joe. And then Joe comes back and gives them her blessing and says even though Dylan's leaving, I'm happy for him. This is an adventure. This is the love of his life. And it puts Pattiya in tears. It's like she's been waiting to hear that.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I think that she needed to hear it probably 12 years ago, honestly. I just love them.
Johny and Sumit still living with the parents, still not happy with the parents, still not getting it in.
Still not drinking.
Still not drinking. Madeleine's like, it would be hard living with a family who is mean to you. And if you're not making her happy, she's not going to want to go romping around your parents' house with you. Sumit doesn't think it's a problem at all. He's like, I don't know why we're not having sex. Doesn't matter that mom's in the next room. They'll just turn on the music.
Yeah, they made a good point, though. If you're not happy, you're not wanting to have sex.
Just give her the noise-canceling headphones. No. She sounds depressed. Johny is just sitting in her room by herself.
All day.
And Family Cafe Sumit is now Cafe Sumit. Johny can't cook. His parents are too old to work. I don't know what happened to his sister and brother-in-law. They popped out of the house and popped out of their lives.
They probably realized there wasn't enough room for them in that cafe. I don't understand, though. My parents are not physically able to cook.
I don't understand, though. My parents are not physically able to cook. I don't understand, though. My parents are not physically able to cook. I don't understand, though. My parents are not physically able to cook. I don't understand, though. My parents are not physically able to cook. I don't understand, though. My parents are not physically able to cook. I don't understand, though. My parents are not physically able to cook. I don't understand, though. My parents are not physically able to cook. I don't understand, though. My parents are not physically able to cook. I don't understand, though. My parents are not physically able to cook. I don't understand, though. My parents are not physically able to cook. I don't understand, though. My parents are not physically able to cook. I don't understand, though. My parents are not physically able to cook. I don't understand, though. My parents are not physically able to cook. I don't understand, though. My parents are not physically able to cook. I don't understand, though. My parents are not ph to work here, but Jenny is.
She's about the same age, isn't she?
Is about the same age.
Yeah.
Right. Now, Luke with his unsolicited advice, why don't you teach her how to cook and then you guys can be business partners? Luke, we see how well business partners turned out for you now, didn't we?
He's the last person that needs to be given business advice.
Sumit, do not listen. Do not listen to Luke's business advice. Now, Jenny gets a chance to talk to Sumit's parents. And Shuri moved out of the house, his brother and sister-in-law. She's saying because they couldn't get along. Sumit says something interesting. He's like, we can't be ungrateful and throw them under the bus. When Jenny's telling him, tell the truth. Tell everybody why your sister moved out. This is such a vast difference in culture. Sumit sees his parents like gods. On the other hand, as far as culture, you got this sister and the brother-in-law moving out. So Sean's like, well, did they reject their culture? I wonder if this is more that Sumit felt he didn't have a choice whether or not to be in his parents' lives for so long because they were rejecting Jenny, that now that they're welcoming him back with open arms, he doesn't want to lose it again.
That's a possibility. I also wondered with the brother being gone and his wife, if it doesn't fall to Sumit to stay there with the family, that at least one of them is there.
Now, Sumit's dad said the reason that Shuri is out is because they like to eat meat. Jenny wants to eat Sumit's meat, but can't do it at the house when you're not happy. But the smell of the meat is too much. So, Jenny, go get you a big steak and just start grilling. Just make them kick you out.
Yeah, that's some good advice. Go get you some bacon.
That's what I was thinking.
It's got a strong smell.
The smell of meat turns gross once you become a vegetarian. I was like, even bacon? Does that smell bad? How? How is that possible?
Bacon's never bad. She should be doing
although
burgers and chicken and steak and bacon every day.
I don't think that they're going to be eating the steak because
of the cows.
Yeah, those are a holy symbol in India. So,
oh my gosh, Jenny could really freak them out then if she started with a steak.
That's too far. That's too far. Look, all we got to do is fry up some bacon. That's it. We just got to fry up some bacon. She also wants to drink. And she can't do that at the house. They don't like that. She also wants to walk around without a bra. That's what she needs to do. Get her a bag of bacon, walk around without a bra, let them things fly, and
swing in a bottle of rum.
Exactly. That will take care of it. Sumit won't have to make that decision. Bye, Jenny. Jenny, she says that she's at her wit's end. Time to leave. You got to figure out something soon, Sumit, or I'm leaving, even if it means going back to the U.S. And his parents are like, we want you to stay. We're not trying to make it hard. They also weren't trying to make it hard on his brother and their daughter-in-law, but it's just hard to change your ways. You're not going to have Jenny change her ways, and you're not going to have Sadhana change her ways. Rohit comes on to give some advice. Basically, the reason his restaurant failed, we hear again, is because Jenny wouldn't let Sumit work. And then Sumit says that Rohit wouldn't give him advice on how to run the restaurant because he didn't want competition. He didn't want his employee competing with him. I don't think it matters. Even if Rohit gave you advice, you're probably going to run this one into the ground like you did his. And do you want advice? Apparently, Sumit single-handedly crashed Rohit's business, and he's the one running this. What advice does Sumit need?
I don't know.
He knows how to crash a business. He can crash this one too. And that guy didn't know how to save his own business. I don't know.
I mean, the guy didn't know to fire his employee and hire another one. He let that one employee
show up to work and keep it running.
He let that one employee run it into the ground. That doesn't make any sense.
Jenny says she didn't tell Sumit not to go to work. I kind of get the feeling that Sumit wants to live this retired life too. At home with mom and dad.
I think there might be a little lazy in him.
He just wants to enjoy his time with Jenny. What really was getting to Jenny is that Sumit would get sloppy drunk with Rohit after work. he would go out, get to the point where he is falling on the ground. He's probably eating cheeseburgers off the ground like David Hasselhoff. Did you ever see that video where he's drunk and just eating the cheeseburger off the ground?
Well, okay, wait. So we just learned exactly why he wasn't showing up the next day. If he's getting so damn drunk that he's crawling on the ground, the guy is so hungover, he's not getting out of bed anytime soon the next day.
It's not Jenny. It's you, Rohit. He got this man intoxicated.
Exactly.
But it's been almost 2 years since he hung out with Rohit. He said it's because Jenny doesn't like him. Now Greta says, look, you can't be controlling who his friends are and telling him drinking is wrong. Sumit needs to maintain his individuality, which generally, yes. Where do we draw the line between maintaining your individuality and having concerns about alcoholism?
Fair point.
Now, it's only once a month, I guess. I don't know if it was every night. I mean, they both seem to like to drink. Also, the responsibilities you have in your 20s are different than your responsibilities in your 40s and 60s. He's got an older wife who's sitting at home with his parents all day. Is he inviting her to go out for drinks after work, or is she just stuck at home with his mom and dad?
Well, I didn't think that it was like currently the situation. I thought they were just talking about
it's like a year or two ago. She's been there for a long time.
Yeah. So I don't know where
so
they
while
were
she's saying like he needs to maintain his individuality.
Oh, Greta.
Yes. I mean, Jenny still was older 2 years ago.
I think Greta needs to just be quiet. I mean, she ended a relationship after 4 days.
She's so afraid to get close to people that the solution for everything is break up and
distance yourself from relationships. Yeah, don't lose individuality.
Which is great. I mean, you do need to stay an individual.
Absolutely. But when you're in a relationship, you also are two people trying to do things together as one sometimes, especially if it's a marriage or something.
And sometimes not. I just don't know that we have enough about the situation. But what we do know is that she says he's like sloppy drunk crawling around. Mm-hmm. Is he going to get home safely? Is he safe? Is he letting you know, or is he just showing up at home at 3 o'clock in the morning, smelling like alcohol? You also have responsibilities to your spouse. Not that they should be, can't go and hang out with your friends and get drunk. I mean, absolutely.
Right.
But are we doing it safely? Are you doing it every night and not including her? Mm-hmm. What does this full picture look like?
Yeah, I don't think we have enough evidence.
It's a broad statement, and I agree with it. But also, is the drinking problematic? Is it causing you to miss work the next day? Anyway, Sean says, is divorce in the cards? We got a new tarot deck. Should we ask?
You want to? Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So we pulled the reversed 2 of Pentacles. See the little guy juggling here. So this doesn't point to immediate divorce, but it definitely indicates that they can't keep going on the way they are. They can't keep juggling everything on their plate. The reversed 2 of Pentacles is showing a serious imbalance in Jenny and Sumit's relationship. The juggling, it's not working anymore. Somebody is feeling overwhelmed. They're tired of pretending that the setup is sustainable. Mm-hmm. The setup isn't working. So this card indicates they might stay married more out of inertia than out of happiness, maybe out of convenience, or it could show that they eventually might quietly separate, not some dramatic drag out separation, but just realizing that they can't fix this imbalance, this cultural imbalance, this age imbalance, the expectations versus their realities, that they can't juggle anymore. So is it in the card? Not immediately. But what is in the cards is what we're seeing. Last up, Johny and Chloe, and I hope this recording doesn't screw us over.
Oh, me too.
So Johny starts off by taking accountability. Had he been more respectful and more patient, then maybe this would have worked. And Dylan's buying it. Dylan's like, I'd give him another shot. Sean asks Chloe, would you take him back? And she's like, I mean, the sex is good, but I couldn't do it in Aruba. I wouldn't trust him in Boston because there's pretty women. I mean, really, I couldn't trust him anywhere.
Yeah, but Pattiya points out there's beautiful women everywhere.
Exactly. But Chloe, she's had some self-discovery in this show. She realizes she's not mentally in a place where she should be dating or entertaining a new relationship. Because she would just self-sabotage it.
I thought
she
that was
realized this before she started spying on the man in trees, or maybe she could, talk to her friend Greta.
Yeah, I thought it was very insightful that she said something like that. I'm wondering if they got to see these episodes before the tell-all, and if maybe she had an epiphany in watching herself and how she behaved with the spying and all of that stuff.
Who knows? Because the last episode, Johny was like, oh, I'm seeing this for the first time.
Mm-hmm. True.
Now, it's almost like she kind of gently lets him down, but then he comes out with he's got someone special in his life who is carrying his child and he's with her. And oh, no, I wasn't contemplating getting back with Chloe. I mean, just letting her know the sex was great, but I was just saying we could be friends. Johny.
That is not what was happening at all. And everybody else on the stage thought the same thing, that he was trying to convince her to get back with him.
You think you're going to gaslight all of us with cameras right there. We saw what we saw. Chloe looked sick. She even said, I feel sick.
You could
she
tell
was in shock.
You could definitely tell she had just found out. I mean, the amount of expressions that her face went through were just...
And then she started crying.
I
know. It
looked
like someone pulled the rug out from under her.
I felt so bad for her. I did bad
too.
For her. And I think Sean hit on it. She's like, are you upset because you're envisioning the life? You see him having the life that you envisioned. And I think that's exactly what had her so upset.
And that might have been the life she envisioned. But let's look at what this other girl is getting. Yeah. This other woman in his life has a serious commitment with him now. She's carrying his child, and he is on national TV in the U.S. Talking about how great the sex is with his ex, and maybe would have taken her back if she would have said yes. And then is saying, if I knew that she felt this way about me, Chloe, things would have turned out different. What is that saying about your relationship with your baby mama?
Yeah. He kept repeatedly saying, I didn't know she still felt this way about me. I didn't know she still, in reference to her crying. I don't think that that's why she was crying.
Chloe, you already had this guy. Just fortunately, you didn't have that level of commitment with him. You didn't get pregnant by him because he couldn't make a decision between you and all the other girls on the island. And now he can't make a decision between the mother of his daughter and at least you. I'm sure there's a bunch of other ones. You don't want this. This isn't the life that you envisioned. This is why you're gone.
I felt it's just really sad. And you could see her heart was on her face. The shock was on her face. I mean, everything. I thought she was going to throw up at one point.
I did too. And that's it. We just wrap with everybody kind of concluding the show. Johny hopes that people don't demonize him. He's only human. Luke, there's been a lot of bullshit and ups and downs today. And then he's saying he feels bad for Chloe and that he finds her attractive with this huge smile on his face. And that Madelein, maybe he'll pull the K-1 visa, maybe he'll keep it. It's best if they just have a break, so he can hook up with Chloe tonight and then try to convince her to take him back. Greta asked Luke, who do you think we can convince to go out with us? And Luke's like, everybody's going. Pattiya looks like she's ready to go kick off her shoes and relax. She just wants Dylan's mom to say, let's do some boundaries. Maybe that thing that Johny, like the one smart thing he said, which was have Dylan call while Pattiya's at work. The fact that the man solved that problem
is
even more infuriating. That he's smart. He knows what he should be doing. He's just not doing it. Jenny and Sumit can't kick his parents out, and Jenny needs to move or he loses her. So they're at an impasse. And Greta is a snack goblin. Did you catch this? She has this reusable bag and she is stuffing all of the cookies from Craft Station in it. Like, it's filled all the way to the top.
Maybe that's what happens when you don't eat no meat.
I know Oreos are vegan. And she had a bunch of Oreos in there, but yeah, she was ready to go get stoned and destroy that bag of cookies. She's like, let me just take this off of your hands.
And the highlight of my day was seeing Hazel.
That was last week. Did she say that?
Yeah, she said it at the end of the show. They asked her something about what the best thing was about this, and she's like, seeing Hazel.
I thought you said people.
No, it was seeing Hazel.
That makes more sense, let's be honest. Luke and Madeleine. Madelein's like, congratulations, you lost me. And we already told you what Luke's doing. He's going to get drinks with Chloe. And then Chloe, she is standing there with her phone, and Johny is blowing it up.
Blowing it up. But then I was completely confused when she was walking out. She was talking to them about having tickets to Aruba the next week. Well, that's not happening. Was she going to Aruba to see him?
Okay, I think so.
I do too.
Because she says she wants to cancel because Johny will try to talk to her if she goes. You know that he knew she was coming.
Mm-hmm.
He just didn't think he'd have to confess that he is in a relationship and the girl's pregnant. That partner of his was about to get cheated on.
Maybe that's why she was crying. Maybe he's been wooing her over the last few months since she left.
Do you think she's just going to Aruba without the expectation of sex with Johny?
Exactly. No,
she'd go anywhere for a vacation.
Yeah.
That's probably part of why this knocked her on her ass so hard. But I loved it because he's like, let's talk. Don't be like that. And I'm sitting there like, block him. And then Chloe says, I'm going to block him. I'm like, did I just will that? Did I just get Chloe to block him on demand? I was proud of her.
Me too. Let's see if it sticks.
That's it. That's all I got. That was a great episode. That was a great season.
It was. It was a really good season. I really liked most of the couples too.
Yeah, I did too. Relationships are not all clean and pretty in a package. Everyone's got their ups and downs. And one season can take us through so many. So many of those.
I hope we do see some of them on 90 Day, though.
I hope so, too. We'll be back on Friday with Traders. We'll be back next Wednesday with the Murdaugh appeal. Remember, I'm an attorney here in the Low Country of South Carolina in Charleston. We have clients in Hampton County because we work in federal court, so we pretty much service the coast mainly. We take cases all over the state, though. But I'm really excited. Dee and I watched that entire trial, and now
it was so
we can
good.
report.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as what's next, I think we're going to skip on the single life because we are getting into our busy season.
Mm-hmm.
Love is Blind.
We're still debating.
I don't know how I can watch this and not have something to say.
I know. But the way they drop the episodes, that's been the dilemma for us.
And that's what we're trying to figure out because it is our busy season and we can't do 6 hours of episodes in a week.
Mm-mm.
We might be doing like episodes 1 through 3 if we decide to do it. We might be kind of behind at first. If we do Love is Blind, we're going to have to play it week by week and see when we have time to drop it. And we'll try to let you know in advance of when to expect episodes and we'll try to get them out as soon as possible. But yeah, like last time they dropped 6 on us.
I know that's like 6 hours of watching and then, we're not recording in an hour.
More than 6 hours of watching because we're taking notes and we're watching more than once. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out. The last time it dropped it was in the fall, but for our line of work, bankruptcy, helping people get out of debt, tax season is kind of our busy season. So I just don't know how I can watch it without commenting. So we'll see.
Maybe we'll just have to comment between ourselves.
Maybe. I keep thinking maybe we'll keep it short, but that never happens. Anyway. We'll let you guys know more on Wednesday. The news shows drop Wednesday, and we will be here Wednesday with the Murdaugh appeal. So we will see you then. Channel surfers, thanks for listening. And yeah, if we don't do Love is Blind, we might go back to like an old season of 90 Day or Sister Wives. We might just do a couple of true crime thingies until something really good comes on next, maybe in April or May. But we will keep doing the Traders and we'll be putting something out just to be determined. All right. We love you guys. Thank you for listening. See you soon. Bye.
Let's ride.